Okay, guys, here we go. I gotta actually find you on my pad here too.
Yes, and hold on here. I know I thought I saw we had a K-head sighting. K-head's number 1. Good to see you. Oh my goodness, Jay Erickson. Good to see you too. Glad to see you in the house. Watch out for that Sassy Susie. She's keeping an eye on that Jay Erickson there. Miss Skydra Deanna, can you please speak about what some call Dreamwork? This is not the personal life experience stuff in dreams, but the dreaming that can affect the larger events and timelines. Yes, we can absolutely talk about that. So, very much physical, real world impact, multiple opportunities to create the effect, either in the dream world state or can happen in meditation. Miss Christine Love, good to see you. I hope that little four legged angel is doing well. And hi, Tracy from New Zealand. Miss Truth Co-op Diana, good to see you. Ron, hello, you guys. Good to see everybody in the house. Miss Jen and the birds, hello. And there's our KK. Good. A little bit different today. Just, something light because it's been a little bit rough the last couple weeks energetically. And, well, we just wanted to kind of lift that a little bit and do just some nice stuff. Dreaming in Puerto Rico, good to see you. Yeah, and just looking at the astrology next week. Yeah, next week is a week just to get through. Put your head down. Just go. Don't look anywhere. Don't stop. Don't try to talk about it. Don't try to figure it out. Just go. Just go next week. Just get it over with. Oh my goodness. Yay. Yay. So yeah, we have some work to do. We have some work to do for sure.
Yeah, so a day away from the Lionsgate portal, energy's being felt, and the reality is the 8-8 portal, the calendars have shifted so many times to pick any one specific date, maybe a little bit off point, but it's the season, and it's the season for the apocalypse, the great revealing. It's so underway right now. It's mind-blowing what's going on, and the energies, they are intense. But I am going to show just a few things. It looks like we're maybe starting to get a little break on the Schumann. That was a hell of a whiteout there. Just a couple, well, just really yesterday. Man, that was brutal. And I don't know. I mean, to me, today has felt really good overall. But I know it's been a really, really bumpy ride for all of us. We are all going through like absolute craziness. I do think, again, we are being asked to kind of, at this point in time, we're all kind of doing life reviews. Do you guys feel that? Do you find yourself looking back and analyzing, points in your life, major events, kind of doing a life review while still here in the body?
Yeah. I mean, just sort of going over stuff. And, for me, it's been a lot about reaction versus responding. And what does that really look like? And how does that happen? Just sort of picking it apart, picking apart reaction and response and how the two can really send you off into a different timeline depending on how you respond to a certain circumstance. So, but that takes sitting quiet and introspection. So that's kind of what I've been doing. So maybe it's the same as, well, or also looking back on times in my life when I was really reactive and I didn't respond, how things differ, how things change.
Yeah, there's been a lot of analyzing. I think we are, at really a critical juncture. I myself have been getting a lot of realizations, been going a lot deeper and paying a lot more attention to my dreams and everything that's coming through in meditation. To me, this has been like an amazing time of revelation the last week or so. I think that's what we get when we get into these periods of trials and tribulations. It affords us the opportunity to look a little deeper, really analyze where we are and what is really going on that we want to adjust.
And we can, I do think we're in that place. And part of our dreams, going back to Skydra Deanna wanting to talk about dream work, that's really important. And that's also like a muscle. Um, if you want to pull like your literal dreams into it, it does help to go in stages, baby steps and pull things in. And so much of that is what the dreams really mean to you in real time. So um a lot of times, if we can do a dream analysis, but it does take a minute because it takes what it means in the real world and also mix that into what it means with the dream world and kind of blend those two together, and then you have something symbolic that works for you.
Yeah. The dream world, again, it's been said that the dream world is actually more the real world than when we're in the body. Certainly, our consciousness is more expanded in the dream realm. And perhaps we go vast distances when we're sleeping, quote unquote. Even between different realities in the 4D and maybe even different parts of the 4D. It's an expanded version of our consciousness. When we are in body, then the senses dominate. They dominate. And it's just, again, what are we seeing? What are we feeling? What are we touching and tasting as opposed to you don't have those senses in the dream world. You might think you do, but it's more like memories of being in the physical. But you have other senses, and your consciousness is much more expanded. I think, again, we truly are more our usual selves in the dream realm than when we go into the physical body. I think also, there's so many things that have been hitting me this week. The Mandela effect and all these different things. I just feel like all of a sudden there's like revelations coming through on so many different subjects. Again, I think all will be revealed to a large degree because humans have really been one of the few species that have been purposely kept in the dark. And also, even with our DNA being so turned off, when we come in to this physical body, we are finding that we have less tools than perhaps other people like us in other realities, other planets, other worlds, that they wouldn't have this much limited capacity in the body simply because so much of our DNA has been turned off by, again, that dark matrix control system. But it's being turned back on naturally. So this is the exciting part. What does it really mean to be human? It's something much more than we have experienced up to this point.
Mm. Well, I think it means putting on a certain filter, a certain filter that, you ask questions. And really, the only reason you ask those questions is because you're inside of that filter. But once you take the filter off, you can see everything from all the different points of view and all the different perspectives. But without the filter, it seems like, there's no need or longing to want to reach and stretch for answers and try to understand. So the filter does play its part, the world and the matrix and everything that we live in frequency wise. We are all creating our own world for whatever we need. It's just sometimes it just feels really cruddy, but when you become self-aware and you're able to look back on those things that happen in your life and say, okay, well, now that makes sense and now this makes sense. And sometimes maybe things don't make sense up until you die, and then you die and you're like, whoa, okay, well, that makes sense now, and now I know why that needed to happen. It's all worth it. It's all worth it. It's just hard sometimes.
Backass Words Weird World says, I feel like you can see and affect real world from that side. Yeah, well, if that is the expanded side of us, if that is a greater part of us, because maybe we are more localized and we are a little bit more specific, if that makes any sense, here in the body, being relegated to just these senses as opposed to getting out of the body and having a bigger perspective, then I would think, yeah, we are way more powerful out of the body in some ways, but we can definitely affect this world from that side, but also we could affect it with our intention while we're in the body and just setting that intention, getting ourselves into the proper brainwave state where we are receptive and we have communion with the higher self. How many people out there can sense their crown chakras? Can you guys sense your crown chakra? Do you feel tingling? Do you feel an energy flow? Do you feel like you're breathing through the top of your head at times? I'm curious to know who does.
And you might feel it when you listen to a song or when you hear certain music, certain tunes, certain chords strike the body, and that's the thing that pulled me toward biofield tuning, because I could feel my energy field rearranging itself. And also when I was either doing an energy work or having it done on me, I started to feel like it felt like paint, like mixing paint over my body. I could feel my energy field was being changed, it was being altered. And that's very important in this world, because the traumas that happen in your energy field block your understanding. So when you are able to have a full biofield tuning, and you can recalibrate your entire system, that will allow so many things to come into your energy field and allow you to see. You can have more clarity. You can be more intuitive. You can have more understanding as to why did you get sick, why you cannot heal from this thing. And it's all in that invisible field.
Okay, so I see that Christine Love says yes, she can. KK can, except the breathing, but does feel the vibrating. Yeah, it's downloads. When you feel the vibration through the crown chakra, that's information, that's communication, you and your higher self, ongoing, and possibly also you and your guides. But I've always noticed that there's this tingling, this vibrating. And at times now, because of so many years of practice, it can be overwhelming. It can become like a fire hydrant stream at times of information coming in. And the best thing I've found to do is to just simply either sit back in a meditative state and just relax and let go of everything, let go of all expectations and just see what comes to you, or even lie down like you're going to go and go to sleep and take a nap. When you're just starting to shift, you get into just that right brainwave state, then you can receive information. And it might be, again, things like pictures in your mind. You might see faces, you might hear something. Again, this is communication ongoing from our guides and our higher self to us. And it's critical. I even think now I've come to believe that we really should probably take a nap or two during the day just to reconnect and reestablish that linkage, that hookup to the higher realms. I think again the dark control system has intentionally given us a structure in this world that is all about keeping us disconnected from our guides and our higher self.
It does, and that invisible energy field is so very important. When I do work on people, a lot of times you get changes in vibration, but mostly what I listen for is I listen to it's so cool because you can hear the changes in the tuning fork, and a lot of times you guys can hear it at night when we do our lives and we do tunes at the end. You hear those subtle changes, and that is the fork coming up against the energy field of all of us. And when you hear this really super high pitched whiny feeling, that's fear. And I just think it's so interesting how tuning forks can pick up different emotions. And sometimes it picks up a lot of static which means the energy field is just very, very noisy. So, what we try to do is quiet that energy field so the person can hear their own thoughts. I mean, the whole world of energy has just been so fascinating for me and very, very fun. And when I very first started seeing energy, the first thing I saw coming out of my hands were spirals. So, I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah, and dreaming in Puerto Rico, yes, resting is so important because it's more than resting the physical body. It's also a reconnection of our spirit, our soul, with again higher realms, higher self, and the guides. That is so, so important. Backass weird world. Funny how the young and the old take midday naps, the rest not too much. Yeah, because the world keeps us so busy too. That's part of it as well. But we definitely do better with getting ourselves down at some point during the day for even just, 15, 20 minutes. It's really just as soon as I feel the buzzing, the tingling in the crown, and then a lot of times I'll feel energy buzzing and tingling all around my entire body. Martine, good to see you as well. I often feel like I'm being buffered against energy, and notice how the pitch in the ringing in your ears changes at 3 a.m. like somebody flipped a switch. Yeah, I noticed that too. That background noise, the ringing. The only time it really stopped was when we were in New Mexico, where there was no frequencies, no phone signals, and we were in a bedroom that had like 1.5 foot thick brick walls, and then all of a sudden it's actual dead stillness, and there really is no sound, and there was no ringing in the ears either at that point, which was really kind of wild because we're not used to that.
Yeah, let's see. Yeah, right. Christine, I had energy work done several years ago from someone in Brooklyn, and when she was done, I could feel my chakras on my feet spinning. Right? Exactly. I mean, I think that's just so incredibly cool when our energy fields can come together and do things. Um, Okay, I just, I just, Miss Tori's in the house, but she can't type on the phone. It's a hi, Tori. Glad you can make it. But yeah, I do think that arranging that energy field and outside the body, that's the silent energy field that is always listening for instruction, listening, listening, listening. So the way you talk to yourself and even the thoughts that you have become very, very important to that energy field, because the energy field does not decipher whether or not you're being sarcastic. It really doesn't care. It's just going to follow instruction because that's like your subconscious. And even if you don't believe it, you definitely want to say good things about yourself. You want to say, yes, I have abundance. You don't want to say things like, oh, I'm completely broke. Don't say that. Don't say that, because your cells are going to be like, oh, okay, well, fine. You're broke. Well, I'm going to do things to make sure you're broke because I'm just going to follow orders. I think that's wherein lies the mistake when we talk about speaking with yourself. And some people say, well, I don't like to look at myself and tell myself I love myself in the mirror because I don't believe it. It doesn't matter that you don't believe it. Your cells do, and they're going to act accordingly. So that's just something I've learned over the years. It's they don't decipher, they just take orders.
Yeah, I see. Dreaming in Puerto Rico, O negative. Yeah, the whole RH negative thing is a particular, again, extraterrestrial lineage. The reality is we're all ultimately extraterrestrials in the sense that we all have ancestors that come from different places. But yeah, it is one that has a particular grouping, and it's interesting too because like when we talk about cryptids and stuff, and we were talking about how so many more people are having encounters with cryptids right now. It's just beyond bizarre. And again, the reality is that our 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 ascension is kind of bringing us into areas where other beings live that these beings might not be on the ascension path like us. So what are we doing? We're kind of driving through their zone in a way. We're rising up into their zone. Think about this too. I mean, if that's the case and that happened in the past, right? Then there could have been interactions between other beings and us in the past that haven't happened for maybe thousands of years, but might happen again in our immediate future. And, that brings up all sorts of possibilities for growth and expansion. So, I know a lot of people have associated the RH negative with the Anunnaki, but again, Anunnaki is a big term. And yeah, I think humans are one of the most unusual hybrids of all because we have so many different DNAs in us.
We do. We have a lot. We have a lot going on there. Martine, been calming my speaking mind and trying to listen inward. Isn't that hard? It seems like my pillow is the magical place where I lay my head and all the world problems come to me at that time. It can be really frustrating, the mind, and if you really think about it, you can never really think your way out of any given situation. It's just the mind starts spiraling and it starts going and it starts going and going, and you just go on and on and on, and you have to figure out ways to really shut it down. And what I like to do is I like to visualization really helps me. I make myself think of things that are very pleasant, like a horse walking through a pasture, or kittens playing, or puppies playing, or just a very nice time in my life, because it is so hard to get yourself to stop thinking about problems. The brain, especially when you go through trauma, the brain is there to keep you alive. It's not there to bring you joy. Um, so the keeping you alive part, it likes to scan for danger. Scan. And if you have had trauma, it's going to make it worse. It's going to make you want to scan more. So it is about brain training, and you can get there. And I've yet to been able to think my way out of a situation. It just seems to make it worse. So I have to visualize, but that really helps me. Other things that really help is humming, activating that vagus nerve. Humming is really, really good to help trigger the vagus nerve and start calming the body.
I see our beloved Rosemary's in the chat room, and for her, I think it's morning, and she's an O negative. There you go. Where else do we have there? There was so many good things. Martine is working on using a simple beach chair covered with copper, connecting to a copper grounding rod outside 2 floors below me. That's pretty cool. Diana was saying, I hear frequencies in my left ear when I know someone's thinking about me, or in my right ear when it's downloads from the universe. That's very observant too. And congratulations on those purple tomatoes. I've never had luck with like those real, some of those real heirloom ones. While everything we grow is organic, man, I would cherish some of the heirloom ones, like the purple ones. Those are so cool. Had a whole bunch of aphids. It just like destroyed all my squash, which sucks. I didn't get to save the squash in time, but still have had a great season of peppers and watermelon and a bunch of other things and tons of herbs. It's a battle. It is a battle when you're gardening, just to share that. And we'll be sharing an update from the expanded chicken coop. And our Dr. Renee, I think, is going to be bringing us some more hens, some baby hens that just got hatched. So we'll be expanding the flock as well. Instead of the flock of 9, I don't know, flock of 15, flock of 18, we'll see.
Yes, it might be the Council of 20. I don't know. We just don't want any more roosters. We have plenty. So Unicorn Purple says, I feel connected to so many star systems. Yes, and it's hard to feel where my home is when you're in all these dimensions. I agree, especially with you, because you are connected to many, many star systems, and many different beings can flow through you. So when I look at your energy field, I really see that openness to the cosmos. And it's like you're a welcoming beacon. I don't, I'm sure you already know that because you're so very intuitive. But when I look at you, I look at your energy field, it's like you're a welcome sign. And it's love, and it's a very high frequency. So I don't see a lot of nasty entities getting in there because it is too high frequency. But I just wanted to put that out there because that's what I see in you. And I do hope that you can get some peace. And sometimes when you are that high frequency, you can have a very noisy energy field because a lot of things want to come and bathe in that frequency. You can't blame them.
Yeah, Dreaming in Puerto Rico said Stefan Burns just posted about an object larger than Jupiter positioned outside the Earth's orbit. That's curious. I haven't heard about that. I do know, what we've gotten from the guides years ago was that Nibiru itself is outside the orbit of the gas giants, outside the orbit of Neptune. And obviously that would include Jupiter, Saturn, Neptune, and Uranus. And won't be allowed to get any closer because, again, the havoc that it did the last time. If you look at our solar system, there's evidence of a big thing coming through. It's pretty obvious, the destruction on Mars, Earth's 23.5 to 21.5 degree tilt, depending on where we are in the precession of the equinoxes. And like Uranus tilted, that was a cataclysm when they bring these death stars in close to us. It caused such a calamity. I'm glad you have no aphids out there. Those things are nasty. Nasty, nasty, nasty. Timeline shifting, too. That's something that's really been on my mind. I think, again, the individual can shift their timeline at any time. In fact, you're always doing it. You're always shifting your timeline, whether you realize it or not. So it is so important to keep ourselves focused on the things that are going to draw us into the higher timelines. Absolutely. As a collective, that I think that's a lot more challenging, and that's really, the crux of our situation. So for the individual, just be as focused on your higher self and achieving that, and know that we can really shift our reality. I believe there's an infinite number of worlds out there, all these different parallel Earths that we can just shift our focus on, go to sleep one night, wake up, and you might think it's the exact same realm, but you might have shifted.
Yeah, what about that? What about that? What I think is I keep going back to the Mandela effect, you guys. I keep going back. Since we did that show not too long ago, that just really has me kind of saying, okay, who's the wizard? Who's playing the games? I know that Monopoly guy had a monocle, and I cannot let it go. Just like just like a rabid dog, I am not letting that one go. I just can't. Only because it feels like trickery. It's like I know somebody knows. I know they know at the top. They're just not spitting out the goods. They're not letting us in on the full picture, and I want to know the full picture. I want to know everything. I mean, why wouldn't you? Fruit of the loom, it used to be FRUIT, not double O. Come on. Come on. Who's doing it? And then what day did we wake up to a Mandela effect? Like, I mean, how does that happen? You just wake up and all of a sudden the world is changed. Does it happen that quickly? Is it that thing in the Bible where they talk about, what does the God say? Something about change, everything changing in the twinkling of an eye. Is that what that means?
Yeah, I'll have to try planting some marigolds. I've been meaning to, but I never get to the flowers that could be beneficial for keeping pests away. We've been doing that with some mint. It's just so hot here. It's real hot here, and if anything is out in direct sunlight, kind of, without a shade screen, it'll get toasted in August and the last part of July. It'll just get fried. So, I mean, we have the shade screens up all over all the plants to keep them going. And even so, still some of the peppers that get exposed a little bit more sun, they're almost like drying out on the vine, so to speak. But yeah, what Cindy was saying, I totally agree with her. You know, it's like this is a period of rapid growth. I have had so much expansion in just like the last week. I feel it's been just amazing. I still have to process it. Um, Somebody had mentioned about third eye pain. You know, that is, I would venture to guess, because I went through it too. It's literally your pineal gland expanding. I've had that happen, and it goes back quite a few years. When I first started to work on people in person on a daily basis, doing energy work, Reiki, you know, pranic healing, Qigong, uh, I started to run into these headaches, and they would be coming from exactly where your pineal gland is. And I would recognize that it was really the more I was channeling, the energy and working on people. There were many days where I did energy work for 9 hours straight with really no breaks. I would schedule one person right after the other, and then it would give me quite a headache. And then it would go away. And all of a sudden, you know, I wouldn't have that issue again. And then maybe 6 months, 9 months later, it would start happening again. And I recognize that as pineal expansion. And I think a lot of people are starting to go through that phase now.
You know, deja vu is a lot of fun. And I really think that, since we have already lived these lives and we've already gone through a timeline, I think it's about crisscrossing back and forth between timelines. That's what I think it is. So when you have that moment of, whoa, this has happened before, I think you're treading very close to timelines that you've crossed over and maybe crossed back over, and it looks familiar. So I really think deja vu is super cool. I think Mandela effect is super cool. I mean, all of those things really make me tingle. And it's just something that I kind of like. If I do have to sit there and think about things, to me, it's fun. It's just fun. It's like what really makes that happen. And that's just how I see it.
Yeah. So yeah, when we looked and took a peek at the Schumann, we could see it's been intense, man. It's been really intense. You see the power up to 70 there. At the moment, this is like we got a little bit of a break. We'll take it. We'll take it. There'll be more coming. Absolutely. Oh, by the way, Etna was erupting big time again. Look at the eruption there. Yeah, the signs are everywhere, and there's so much going on right now. It's overwhelming. I think again, people need to unplug as much as you need to. Really, whenever you feel overwhelmed, unplugged, get out in nature, root and ground as best you can. Exercise, physical exercise does wonders. Had an excellent workout today, and really every day. Cindy and I, pretty much every single day, we do cardio and qigong every day. I try to do the yoga every day as well.
I think all of those things are very important. They do help with grounding. It helps you have a relationship with the physical body because we are in it. However, I think maybe some people um maybe they don't feel it's very important to take care of the physical body, but toward the end of life that can make things very, very painful. And I want to be active to the very, very end. When I'm done, I just, if I can, I want to be hiking out on a trail, and then that's where I drop. That's where it's done. I don't want to have to be in a bed and in pain. I really don't. If there's something that I can do to help that, then that's what I will do, and I'll do my very best. And yoga, exercise, eating right, processing emotions, being good to people, karma, doing the best I can, bringing out the better in people. All of those things to me are very important.
Unicorn Purple, the Syrian said more time folding is occurring that moves our past closer to the present and the future than now with the quantum field. I think that's why many are seeing past lives, the linear collapse. Yeah, and if time is an illusion, then really they're all concurrent lives when we're really getting down to it, which can be kind of mind blowing. It's just also fascinating to me. And the more you go into it, the more you realize how amazing the programming of this multiverse truly is. It is mind blowing. And again, it's beyond this tiny little dark control matrix. I mean, again, some people believe that any sort of physical existence is evil or in some way corrupted. I don't think so. I do think that there is a dark control matrix that's trying to do their best to keep us trapped. But I think ultimately they fail. They could only sometimes make the path a little bit longer or, a little bit more twisting and turning. But yeah, that makes sense. It's a different reality now. Some revelations also on time itself we'll share in upcoming videos and live streams. Martine was asking about decalcifying the pineal gland. I mean, honestly, other than any substances, and there are substances you could, utilize to help. First and foremost, obviously, no fluoridated water. And, when you got to stop taking the garbage. I mean, like this past week now, I eliminated so many foods. Literally was subsisting on just like four different things, honestly, for like a week after a long fast. And it took a little bit longer to get to the boost point, but now I'm in the boost point where I feel like very sharp and energized after the fast. But if you're still taking in those things that lower your frequency or add to the muck and mire of your system, it's not doing you really any good if you really want to clarify and get the most out of your pineal gland and your abilities. Because I do think when we come out on the other side of this, we are going to be like superhuman. This is what so much of the mythology, the legends, and even the movies and stuff are pointing towards. We are going to have abilities that we should have always had. They were just turned off, basically by something akin to a CRISPR technology, perhaps. But nature is turning it back on. So I don't think we know exactly what it means to be truly human. It's a lot more than we think. And so, again, you have to cultivate the very best you. So if you have problems with addictions, that's the first place to look. And sugar is a problem. And I know a lot of people don't want to hear that, but sugar is a problem, just like alcohol, just like drug addiction, because it creates the condition to bring parasites into the body.
Multiple parasites and a lot of those things. Oh my goodness, there's two baby does right out in front of my window. They are so cute this time of year. They're little white dots and stuff. Anyhow, yeah, I mean the first step to decalcifying the pineal gland is just that. You got to stop taking in the stuff that is calcifying it. And then one thing that will really help is fish oil. Get your fish oils in, get your cod liver oil, get your omegas in, make sure your body, and then you got to make sure your stomach is able to absorb all of those things. Because one thing that happens if our diet is the standard American diet is you get a leaky gut. And when you have a leaky gut, instead of your stomach being able to make anything out of those vitamins, it just sort of leaks into the body and it does nothing for you. So you actually become nutritionally deficient even if you're eating food. So it doesn't matter because it's just sort of leaking into the system. And your stomach, with the acid that it has, it does create so many of your hormones that you need for your brain, your dopamine, your serotonin, and they're finding more and more and more with depression, it's in the gut. It's in the gut, 100%, 100%. And they're just now really, really getting good at this. I remember in 2021, I was deathly ill. I was deathly ill. And at the time, I had to take antibiotics. It was horrible. It was absolutely horrible. When I took those antibiotics, I was channeling my own cells. My cells were dying. Therefore, I thought I was dying. I spiraled into a deep depression. It was the worst experience of my life. And I'm trying to tell these doctors, look, I cannot take this stuff orally. I need help. And they look at me like I have three heads. Like, your stomach has nothing to do with anything. This is all psychological. This is just, we have no clue what you're talking about. You're just crazy. And oh my gosh, it was so upsetting at the time, because here I am, I'm so close to my deathbed. I'm around 100 pounds at that time, losing weight. And it was just a really bad situation. So from that, then I started really looking at the stomach and seeing how involved is that with our brain, and that stomach brain axis is everything. So yes, it can affect your intuition, your stomach, and what you eat. Anything you eat can affect the pineal glands, but that's where you start. You want to start by healing the stomach and stopping any food that is, with preservatives and sugar.
Yeah, absolutely. Pinch Runner has been having some health challenges this year. Yeah, stay busy physically as best as you can. Keep using it. That old adage, you got to use it or you lose it. And it's a lot of it's willpower. A lot of it really is willpower, nudging ourselves to keep going at it. Keep going at it. Good to see you, Susan. Again, yeah, I think we're all going through a lot of the very, very same similar type of symptoms. Going back to the pineal gland, though, and how to activate it, I found the single most important, powerful thing was really resonating the mantras. That was, I think, the most powerful single thing to do in and of itself, resonating the Sanskrit words, because they are precisely formatted so that they open up the chakras. And so the mantras, resonating the mantras, I would say is the most powerful thing. But yeah, there's lots of different things you could do to accentuate that. Some say almonds could help as far as with the pineal gland. Certainly, proper dosing of melatonin. Again, if we're going to be keeping out of the sun, we do lose out on vitamin D and also, melatonin, and, regulating your sleeping patterns properly. There's so many things that contribute to the dysfunction of this world. It's been very well planned out.
So Kay had said her hubby worked for a few months at a psych hospital, and a lot of the patients had type 2 diabetes. Yeah. We don't take the diet seriously enough. I feel many people don't. They're
We do.
Mike and I, we really do. We really, really do. And I wish the controllers would too. I wish they would stop putting candy right in front of children's eyes, because you start them so young eating those Reese's and Snickers, and it's truly poison at this point. They don't even make chocolate out of chocolate anymore. They make chocolate out of petroleum, and our children are eating that. And so many things they allow in our food over here in America are not allowed in other countries. So it's the toxins. I mean, we are completely loaded with toxins, and it's so wrong, and it can affect our mental health to a very high degree, but it's not really looked at. Do you think they change any of those diets in those hospitals? No, not really. I mean, maybe they eat good food, but then it's going to be bottom of the barrel, as cheap as they can get, because, they're feeding it to the patients. I mean, we are cattle to a degree. We have to really recognize that anything that's out there that looks popular, we got to really look twice at.
Yeah, so Martin was saying that could barely stand, and that's his exercise. And Zhang Zhuang is very powerful standing meditation, gathering qi. and that's all you do is you stand. There's different poses. I've done videos on it. It is probably the single most powerful Qigong practice that you can do. It's very transformative, and it can make your legs very, very strong. There was a time, maybe 6 years ago or so, I wasn't lifting weights. Cindy and I were just doing a lot of standing meditation, and then was hitting pads and amazed at how hard I could kick. Even though I was like thinner and lighter than typical and not lifting with the weights. But when you gather qi into your lower dantian through the standing practice of Zhang Zhuang, which is a qigong practice, it'll blow your mind what you can achieve. I don't think people really still recognize and understand that this is a physical experience, but the most powerful component is our mind, is our consciousness.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of these practices, aloe, yes, key green, if that's what you mean by aloe, the leaf, aloe, very, very good, very, very healthy, can help heal the stomach and the whole digestive tract. So aloe is your friend for sure. Um, yeah, unicorn purple, please pray to get the kids healed and out of hospitals. They're not safe. They need to go home. Yeah, I agree. I agree.
Yeah, well, now we understand, how things really work. It's all coming out and being exposed right now. It really is. It has to happen. It is something that could absolutely lead to depression and all. To understand just how sad and corrupt this world has been. As always, guys, please do check out our evolutionaryenergyarts.com. It's being updated. There is a market section. There is merchandise there as well. And Sunday we're having a talk with our little helper elf, helper angel that's been working with this with us. And also we thank you guys for your patronage on Patreon and with the YouTube members as well. Oh, look at this. This is, who, the sickle maker and his wife. And look at what she's doing. Wow, they're such a nice couple. Not really.
Aw, thank you, Komo Kuniko. We definitely appreciate that. It helps us with these gatherings. And, if you guys have found this useful, this information helpful, if we've done something for you, it is really nice to help support us back, even through ways of doing a thumbs up. Um, make an appointment if you're curious about biofield tuning. And I got to tell you, with the astrology is something that can really help you get your bearings. Definitely find out which way we can even do medical astrology. If there's something going on and you don't know what it is, medical astrology has been very, very useful. So, yeah, thanks for all of your guys' support.
It's like what we actually see something come about in the month of this is what I was putting out the intent that we actually see something substantial happen in regards to the dark control matrix. And we do have again contempt of Congress with who, the sickle maker. The Rand Paul's Senate Homeland Security Committee has voted to hold him in contempt of Congress because of invoking the fifth and all. I think it's collapsing. It is going to collapse. It has to collapse. Unfortunately, we have all the craziness going on, those Washington wildfires. There's still a lot of work to do on containment. Not a lot of containment yet. Old Trails, Autumn Lane fires, 13% contained. Fairview fire, 5% contained. But we do have somebody that's being held on arson charges who admitted to like over 20 different fires. And it's weird because I swear I've seen this face before. I don't know if that's a deja vu or what. But I think they look for scapegoats and try to get people, manipulate them into, again, either doing it or saying that they did things they didn't do. Maybe he did start a couple. Maybe he didn't start 20 or 25, but maybe he takes credit for 20 or 25. Is he some way being manipulated psychologically? Again, I do think that there's a lot of, if you really look at the definition, the root of the word pharmacology, you'll understand what the system is all about. It's always right there in front of us. It's all right there in front of us. Like his social security number linked to Barack Obama, originally issued in 1977 to a French immigrant named Jean-Paul Ludwig, who lived in Connecticut. Obama never lived there. Ludwig later died in Hawaii, where Obama's grandmother worked in the probate office, accessed deceased people's records, and used his social security number. Oh. And anybody in Montana here? I don't think so, but if you are, there are people that are feeling strange sounds. Pam Marcella and her husband were at home watching a movie Friday night, and a boom hit and the walls shook. We felt it, we heard it, we looked at each other, went to check outside. Neighbor did too. No explanation. Deep vibrating boom. You could feel it in your chest. This is again up in Montana, Bozeman. Bozeman residents have described on social media platforms like Facebook and Reddit for more than a year a recurring boom, a cause of which nobody's been able to pin down, sounding like a bomb going off. This has been ongoing. So what's going on with that? There's so much weirdness in the world at this point in time. And thank you, KK. Thank you, Coma. Again, we appreciate you guys. And as with everybody, the inflation and everything is making it very challenging, especially when you try to eat clean. We just eat a little less.
We do eat a little less, and inflation is just making everything difficult. So thank you guys so much for your support. We truly do appreciate it, and hope to see you again soon.
Yeah, so Coma, meditate with the meditative practice using the Om mantra. I've been able to close that window down to 3 days, 12 hours, even 6 hours. This is the thing, slowly getting a hold of that which has controlled us and then moving beyond it. It is imperative at this time that we really be the best version of ourselves. I don't think we could stress that enough.
It's important. It's definitely important right now. I mean, times are tough, and we just need to, be good to ourselves, be good to each other. Random acts of kindness are wonderful. They're helpful. And, you store your treasures in heaven, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Diana says, sounds like a massive subwoofer at times going off there. I wonder if it's more in the mountainous areas that we're getting this. I do think there's real big earth changes coming. Everybody has seen this. Again, I think if we're in connection, we have good, strong connection to the earth, we'll know, develop that connection, to the higher self and the guides, and you'll be guided. You will know when it might be time to get out of the area, or whatever the situation is. If you have a functioning pineal gland, you'll have a better chance at being aware of when there is some real threats to the area. But keep your frequency high and put your bubble of light around you. It does make a huge difference.
Indeed.
It absolutely does. So, yeah, that was interesting, too. Archaeologists found a 400-year-old vampire cemetery built to hold the dead below ground. It's interesting to see this. This keeps popping up in place after place again and again. The undead, zombies, down in New Orleans, you have all those legends of zombies and things, and Santeria and voodoo, literally trying to control the dead. I wouldn't put anything past some of the entities that have been running the governments of this world. But we've seen some of these type of burial sites where it was all about keeping the body from coming back up and being utilized as a tool of darkness. These are some important health tips from Barbara O'Neill. Honey heals wounds faster than most meds. Its antibacterial power speeds up healing, soothes digestion. Cinnamon lowers blood sugar. Like drugs, just half a teaspoon cinnamon daily can help stabilize insulin levels. Papaya seeds kill parasites. Most throw them away, but they detox your gut naturally. If Rosemary's here, she's shared all these things with us over the years too. Flax seeds balance hormones, reduce belly fat, regulates estrogen, supports weight loss. I made some like cookies out of flax seeds, chia seeds, cranberry, pecans, and just the tiniest amount of honey. And I forget what else. Maybe a couple eggs, I think, were in there, and they're great. Again, you get used to not having so much sugar in your diet. You will find that when you have something with a decent amount of sugar, it's gonna just taste horrible to you. Your body will acclimate. Cloves, more antioxidants than blueberries. Just one clove. You could chew on a clove. Dr. Berg came up in the feed doing a video on the power of just chewing a clove each day. Some societies do that regularly. It will help to fight any sort of infection in your mouth or down into your gut, throughout the whole gut. It's very, very powerful. Pineapple melts mucus and clears lungs. Bromelain in pineapple breaks down mucus. Cilantro is a heavy metal detoxifier. And it's definitely one of my favorite herbs. If you see something marked organic, like a watermelon here, and there's no seeds, it's not organic. Just saying. By the way, getting a tan is one of the best heavy metal detoxes due to the melanin, which binds to toxic heavy metals such as lead. Yeah, get out in the sun every day.
Indeed.
It is a big boost to your immune system, a huge boost. A scientist in Japan demonstrated the air inside a forest strengthens your immune system for a full month. Ching Li, an immunologist, Nippon Medical School in Tokyo, took 12 men on a 3-day forest trip. Slow walks, no breathing exercises, no routine, just a walk in the woods. Tested their blood, found a surge in natural killer cells, the immune cells your body uses to fight cancer and virus-infected cells. Remarkably, the effect didn't fade when they went home. It was still measurable 30 days later. A control group that walked the same distance through a city showed no change at all. They got no benefit. Pine, cedar, and cypress trees release compounds called phytoncides to defend themselves from insects and bacteria. You breathe them in, and it switches your immune cells into high gear. Only one forest walk a month may be enough to keep those cells elevated all year. The best medicine doesn't need a prescription. It's just nature itself. And again, walking barefoot can connect you to the earth. We are electrical beings by nature.
Yes, we are.
So, guys, I want to thank you for being here with us. Thank you, as always, for your support. We couldn't do it without you guys. A little impromptu, but we just felt like we wanted to connect with you guys. It's been a crazy week for us. And I know a lot of you guys have been going through a crazy period of time yourselves. Loka samasta sukhi no bhavantu. May all beings everywhere be happy and free, and may our words, thoughts, acts, and deeds contribute in some way, shape, or form to the happiness and well-being of all beings.
Okay, thank you so much, KK and Como. Appreciate it. Here we go. Source bless and namaste.
Much love, guys. Thank you. Namaste.